The ultimate despair. A group of people who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. Those same people put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the Mastermind's true identity. Our enemy has finally been revealed. But right now, welcome back everyone to Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc Blind. In the last one we finished up with Chapter 5 with kind of like a little epilogue bit, I guess? Because Kyoko, she came and rescued Makoto. Well, kind of, it's not like we've escaped yet, but she came and got him. And it feels good. We also finally officially learnt her talent, which, I mean, it wasn't a surprise per se, but yeah, no, we did get it. So, yeah, we just hit chapter 6. And I'm hoping, but largely depending on time, to be honest, that I'm gonna finish this game in this sitting, which is kind of wild to think about. Like, this has been an experience. I'm sure. How many episodes of this have I done? Like, I think it's over 50 by now. I haven't actually counted, but yeah, I think it's over 50 by now, which is a damn long time in terms of uploads. Like, that's, I mean, depending on how I do that, that could be anywhere from like a full year to a couple of months, you know? It sort of depends if I go for if I upload these on the weekly or if I do them on weekends. And then if I do them, like, bi-weekly, that also changes, but yeah, well, time will tell with that, but yeah, this is... But yeah, I mean, what I meant to say basically there was, yeah, for something that's probably at least taken a few months. For anyone watching, it's only been about 2 weeks for me. Like, so I started on the 11th September. Yeah, it's been 11 days that it's taken me to get as far. It's 22nd of September today. Yeah. I'll be honest, I didn't actually think it would even take this long for me to play the game. I thought this would very much be like an Ace Attorney thing where I could beat this in probably a week at most. But, yeah, no, it's been quite long. And considering that this is the first game, anyway, let's proceed, shall we? Because I am excited to see where this goes. And based on that little bit at the beginning, are we now, like, saying the Mastermind is a group of people rather than one person? I mean, I suppose I'll see. Oh, Kyoko. Right now, we have to get out of this horrible place. Figuring out the rest of the story can come after. Yeah, you're right. Okay, do we just go? Rattle, rattle. Oh, obviously it hasn't changed. It's locked, but we have a way to open this door. Oh, right, yeah. Kyoko's skeleton key. Kyoko, do you still have that one thing? Monokuma's secret tool that you got from the headmaster's room?
Indeed.
Of course I do. It's an absolutely vital part of ensnaring the mastermind. I would never part with it.
And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
And we should be able to use it on that door, right? Oh, come on, really? Do I have to do that before we can do this? Hey, Kyoko, we can use that key of yours to open this door, right?
It's true.
Let's find out.
I mean, we'd be fucked if it didn't. Kyoko took the key with the Monokuma design on it and slid it into the keyhole. And then... goody goody. Yes! It opened!
Indeed.
And now we can get out of here. Let's go.
Sounds good. We quickly opened the door and made our escape from the garbage pit. Finally. We were finally free. There wasn't even time to take a breath of relief, because the real fight had just begun. Ooh, that's nice. Ultimate pain, ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, ultimate execution, ultimate death. And I saw that down there, right into deadly life, huh? Ooh, so there is no more free time then. Sorry, Kyoko, I'm sorry I couldn't finish you off. Or even really start you, I only did one. And that was... was that back in Chapter 2? That was back in Chapter 2, wasn't it? Ooh. Ooh, sorry. Especially now. I do like Kyoko, I must say. She's grown on me a lot as more than just the cool character, you know? Because, I mean, she is still cool, obviously. But, like... God damn it, we're near the end of the game. I'm gonna get a little, reflective, I guess. Like, I've really enjoyed her progressing as a... I mean, as a character, but, you know, like, as a person, you know? So it's not been something, or anything, like, huge or major, but just, she's... I don't know. Her interactions with Makoto have... You know, they've brought her out of her untrustingness, I guess. And I don't know, it's been nice to see. It's been nice to see someone like that change. Because, I mean, admittedly, no one else in the main cast has really changed... Well, not the main cast, the surviving cast has really changed that much, you know? Like, Byakuya's changing a little bit. It's, like, slow and steady. Makoto... kinda... I don't know, Makoto's a weird one. It's like, you don't... I haven't really felt him change, but I kind of know that he has a little bit. You know. Like, we haven't really had that talk of, oh man, I'm just a useless normal guy that we had at the beginning of the game, you know? Like, we haven't had that at all recently. But, like, the other three... I mean, you know, I love Toko. She's absolutely my favourite, but she hasn't really changed in the story, you know? Which, I mean, she doesn't have to. She had her, like, I mean, not necessarily character development, but, like, a lot of her character was explored in her free time events, which I loved. Hiro and Hina, they're pretty much the same. I mean, Hina did have her big Chapter 4 moment, but, she hasn't really changed, you know? She's still Hina. She's felt the same the entire way through. Same with Hiro, really. Oh man. Sorry, I know I should really be getting on with this. Like, we're nearly 10 minutes in and I haven't really done anything, but... And I should really be saying this for the end of the game, shouldn't I, when the credits are rolling, but... I don't know, I can't stop myself. Anyway, I will stop myself. Let's go forward. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up, like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. Oh, more tasteful shadows, I see. The ladder was impossibly long. I couldn't even see where it ended. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down.
Hey,
Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Thanks. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Yeah, that's like the don't look down sort of thing, you know? Well, at least you didn't say that. I'm sure that'd be more likely to throw you off. Maybe talking will help keep my mind off of it. So Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work?
How long?
so...
Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way.
Then, is your family famous?
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us.
Huh? But how come? It's like your family tradition, right? So...
Right.
Because we take pride in it.
Pride?
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things, and to do that we have to stand separate from the rest of society. Which is why we've made a conscious effort to conceal our existence.
A conscious effort?
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational. But it's our family creed, and we do what we must to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride.
Pride. So that explains... Before I came here, when I was looking up about the school online, I never saw anything about her. Because she had hid herself on purpose. To protect the pride of her family.
However...
And yet... I gave up some of that pride.
Huh?
In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if the headmaster is your father, he kind of already knows you exist. But I guess it's more than just him, right? You know? A school isn't just one guy. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, it was because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that. Apparently she disagrees.
What?
Reconnect? I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father.
Huh? But you'd be reuniting after all those years, right? You would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I want to talk to my father about.
However...
There is something I want to say to him, though.
What?
No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him face to face.
What is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him.
Yikes. Sever?
The last time I saw him, I was still very young, so I don't remember myself. But apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented, he had a promising future.
However...
But he had no interest in detective work. So he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather and they had a huge argument. And young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
Right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him.
Yikes, this sounds, quite complicated. Hmm.
If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance to become a detective.
Well, maybe that's why he left you behind. I mean, sounds to me like your family just has a bit of an issue with stubborn pride. Which, you know, I suppose I can personally relate in some way to that. But, well, not necessarily on a family level, but, you know, as someone who is very stubborn and also quite prideful in some ways. But, yeah, no, maybe it just left you behind so you could have that chance to, you know, be part of the family. Because, I mean, you know, sounds to me like it was his choice to just run off, you know? It wasn't like... I don't know, it's something that's hard to sort of, like... It's not hard in the traditional sort of sense when talking about, like, a family member who's left you. 'Cause I don't think that's really what happened here, I guess? Like, you know, the way I've sort of interpreted that is that he, you know, just didn't want to be a detective rather than didn't want Kyoko, I guess. You know? Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not like I can really analyse a character who isn't here, but... Yeah. I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression. So I couldn't tell. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that. What she might have been feeling. All I could tell was that compared to her usual self, she was more talkative and more emotional. I don't blame him, you know. He had his own life to live. It's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true.
However...
But there's one thing that I can never forgive. Wait, did that say not true, or did it say true? That's not true. Okay, yeah, whatever. Really?
So...
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind. Like I said, I think it was a good thing.
However...
But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father.
Ah. So, what's really the problem here is your own stubborn pride, not your family's. Well, it's okay. Kyoko's that sort of person, I think. She isn't the type to want pity, you know? I don't think, anyway.
That's how they see me even to this day. His shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow.
Correct.
That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family. In order to settle the past. In order to remove him from my life forever. I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago.
Well, I mean, you don't know that, but your family. To just cut him out like that.
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood. Nothing more. Are we connected by heart and soul? No.
Hey.
Is blood really enough to call someone family?
Well, I mean, she raises a good point. I can totally see where she's coming from, you know? No one... I feel like most people who have, you know, like, had a parent walk out on them, I don't think anyone like any child in that situation really sympathizes with the parent, unless it's some, you know, like extreme circumstances, you know. But yeah, no, I mean, I think I've said that a lot, haven't I, in this episode? You know. Yeah, well, yeah, this is just a bit of a tricky situation, I think. I wasn't really expecting family drama in the final chapter, but, only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I'm so shocked to hear her say something like that, I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. I totally understand that feeling. Like that sort of, I have no idea what to say right now sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, it's hard, you know, especially when someone else comes to you with something like that. It's especially when Kyoko sounded pretty dead set in her beliefs surrounding the whole situation. So yeah, it is kind of hard to deal with something like that, I think. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence, and after I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. Looks like this is it.
Indeed.
On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak Academy is waiting for us.
We're
Back.
That's right.
Remember that hatch on the ground in the trash room? I'm fairly certain that's where we'll come out.
Oh yeah, that was locked way back when in Chapter 1, wasn't it?
I unlocked it earlier, so it should open without much trouble.
Well, here goes nothing. I reached my right hand up and pushed against the hatch. The hatch opened with ease, and so... it looks like we're back.
I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted.
I can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Now we're back in Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out of there without you.
No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favour.
Well, I mean, what do we do now, I suppose? Yeah, so now what do we do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course, but if the Mastermind finds out... I'm worried about you, too. You helped me, so they might...
Listen.
You're worried? Yeah, of course.
So then...
Then let's just get a concrete answer. Huh?
In other words...
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping.
Wait, that's...
However...
If we try to hide it, it's only a matter of time till we're found out. There's no way we can run away.
Yeah, I mean, there's even a camera in here, isn't there? She said that, she pointed at the nearby surveillance camera, yeah. So you're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now?
Don't worry. What do you think is going to happen? Isn't.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be giving up, so to speak.
Because the Mastermind is the one that's ensnared.
The Mastermind is ensnared? You said something like that before. What does it mean?
So...
The Mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Mukuro's death. There was a moment where the Mastermind let their guard down.
There was?
Right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'll be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations.
I'm still a little... no, super uneasy about this. But we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the gym.
Shall we go?
Let's get going.
Alright. To the gym we go. Ooh. I wonder how everyone else is. Like, it's been a day, hasn't it? Like, I wonder if... I mean, do they even know about what Kyoko's done? Like, to get Makoto out? Okay, here we go. Well, one more room after this, but... Whew. I don't imagine Monokuma's going to be happy that we're around, but... Well, let's see.
Well now.
Hey, 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 hey! Kyoko, I don't mind so much. But Makoto's supposed to be dead! What's he doing here?
That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really going to be okay? Well, I mean, he hasn't really acted out, you know?
You were supposed to be punished! Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What will you do?
I mean, there's technically no rule against it, is there?
If the guilty party is exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. So now I gotta punish you again. And this time I won't leave anything to chance.
Kyoko!
Do whatever you feel you have to.
What?! I mean, I think she's calling his bluff, but...
However,
But before you do, let me just say one thing.
no.
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right? Huh? I lose? You! Explain yourself! What do you mean by that?
Because
God, I've got a really dry throat today. It's quite warm in here, too. It's like a warm day. I think after this episode, I'll grab a drink and bring it up with me, I think. My throat is going to be a little bit parched. Granted, you know, I mean, I assume we're going to have a trial, you know. I don't know what over, but I mean, I can't imagine we won't have one, so, you know. Some of the burden of voice acting will leave my system.
Well, you set up this latest class trial yourself, right? Damn it, it's been a while since I've gone into this sort of voice. I was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
in other words,
I was supposed to be chosen as the blackened and then executed. Right. Hey! What are you talking about?
however,
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The results of the trial weren't at all what you were expecting. Because you never imagined that in that position, one person would protect another like that.
right,
In response to that unexpected development,
indeed.
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation. No more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
However,
But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery.
Alter ego.
You never imagined the possibility of a being that would come to our aid, even after you'd killed it.
am I wrong?
Now, here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Mukuro. You did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the blackened is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose. You talk a big game. You're saying the blackened is me, and not Makoto?
Well,
And you can prove this, right?
well,
No, I can't.
Don't just say it like that! Well, I mean, I think he knows.
What is this? A comedy routine? To make such bold claims without a shred of evidence.
that doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now. But with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find some.
That's right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there is only ever one absolute truth.
I know you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type.
Because it really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you so love to inspire.
Ooh, use that against him.
But here we are, confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
What the heck?
And that's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence.
Indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey,
If you were to execute Makoto now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased.
Ooh. So maybe it's not that the mastermind then is, necessarily the group that we seem to think is the mastermind isn't necessarily the mastermind so much as who this is made for, I guess. Maybe. Showing it on TV. It's for this group of people, I guess. Or my guess is that. Maybe that's the case, because I don't think multiple people are going to be the mastermind. Or at least not in the sense that there's multiple people running around the school right now, you know? Because in that case, they could watch us and control Monokuma at the same time, you know? Huh?
indeed.
Imagine what everyone out there would think if you killed Makoto. They would assume that you killed him because what we said is exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Ah!
Hey,
Of course, you can say we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you killed Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. If you want to run our despair fair and square,
that's what we have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice.
Ooh.
So, what is this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Mukuro's trial over again.
Oh! Right then. That's what our trial's going to be then.
Only this time, you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown. One final battle between hope and despair.
Ooh.
Hey,
That would make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say?
Fair trial. One last showdown. In other words, this would be our chance to expose the true identity of Mukuro's killer. Of the mastermind themselves. But what reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? Well, that's what Kyoko said, right? The audience problem. They'll probably just execute me without another word.
Interesting.
Barrett!
Very interesting indeed.
Barry? He's not worried at all, is he? He doesn't think we can do it.
What's wrong?
Oh, I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. So, time for bear jokes. Now, what you're suggesting might be plausible. It would certainly make for one honey of a climax.
In other words,
Does that mean you accept?
you guys!
If we do things your way, that would be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And it would cause you unbearable despair, right? Then I'm prepared to agree to your terms. Will your hope win out? Or will my despair claim victory?
I can barely contain
Let's have one final grisly showdown.
Even as fucking barely contain myself. Jesus Christ. It's been a while since we've had bear puns from him. He agreed. Then we still have a shot at this.
Barrett!
But this is the long-awaited climax, right? To just guessing the killer is barely a fitting end.
You guys!
So for the final face-off, you'll have to unearth all the mysteries that have been buried here.
All the mysteries? Right, the overarching school mystery then. Well, that's interesting. So it sounds like the next trial is going to be sort of split 50-50. Because, like, we know the identity of the killer is the mastermind, but what we're trying to prove... I guess we're going to try and prove that the mastermind did it, but, like, the main point is that... Or the main point of it is to prove who the mastermind is. And from there... Well, maybe not from there, but as well as that, we also need to figure out everything that's going on. Like, what's gone on with Hope's Peak, I guess.
That's right. Every last mystery that's pawing around the school. If you can do that.
Will I be able to uncover the mystery of how Celeste killed Hifumi? Because I still don't understand how she got into the room! I imagine not. I don't think I'm going to learn that. But, you know, maybe I will.
And that'll be enough to qualify as a victory for you.
I actually like that one. That was a smart one, Monokuma. Or a smart use of koala, I should say.
That's what we've been trying to do all along.
Okay, well, good. Well, good? Good. And let's bear it all.
Well, I've bared enough with you, mate. There's been a couple of times that we've talked a little too much about what's going on when we're bare naked. Yeah, no, I mean, we had to censor it. Yeah.
If you can claw your way to the truth of Mukuro's death and solve the mysteries of this school, then you win. But if you can't do all of that,
We'll face execution, right?
I can barely contain my excitement when you learn the whole truth. What kind of despair will you show me?
We're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Oh, the smarmy Kyoko smile.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair?
I honestly can't believe how this has all turned out.
Hey,
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held.
what's wrong?
I remember that for sure. So what?
Hey,
I just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And that's a true statement.
You don't have to be so suspicious. I said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on the school regulations.
So I think what Kyoko's getting at is exactly what I was getting at before, or like last chapter. The mastermind has to be a student, it has to be someone who is participating in the killing game, right? Which is why I kinda still don't believe that Mukuro is the one who's dead. And now that we're convinced that she is dead, that's sort of more... That's backing up for me even more that maybe she is still alive and maybe she is still the mastermind. You know? Because, like, as I've said, I'm pretty sure that that body is Junko's. I know that this whole Mukuro thing has sort of thrown it into question, but... I don't... Like, it can't be any other way, right? Because... as I've said, everyone has been in the same room as Monokuma. And according to what we believe about Monokuma, that he has to be controlled, it can't be anyone, or any one of the 15 students we first met. It just can't be. Which means it has to be Mukuro, unless there are some other shenanigans going on here. But, you know... I mean, I guess, ultimately, we could have a situation where Monokuma's being controlled by someone who's not the mastermind. and the mastermind is like one of the people watching this, but I don't think so.
Everything is based on school regulations. I think I already said this line. And having a trial for Mukuro is no exception to that.
Huh? Mukuro's trial is no exception. Then it's part of the regulations? Which would have to mean that whoever killed Mukuro...
It's a very polarizing approach, I know, but... Okay, enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began when 16 participants, all of them, began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students.
What?
Listen,
Are you telling the truth?
I mean, he has to be, right? He's the judge. He has to give us, like, fair information. Well, actually, no, he doesn't, does he? Because he wrote that fake note. Well, then again, he didn't destroy Sakura's old suicide note, so it's not like... And he was pretty... Afterwards, he was like,
Yeah, it was pretty obviously fake. Come on, I can't believe you fell for it.
so... I don't know, I guess. I mean, he bends the truth slightly in sort of like the form of wordplay, but he doesn't usually lie. Why'd he go quiet all of a sudden? Well, presumably, based on that laugh, it's because it's going to make us realise that whoever the mastermind is has to be a student, you know?
I'm done talking. I got nothing left to say to you. So get lost, would ya?
Why so mad?
He seems emotionally unstable.
Leave me alone. Get out of here.
Okay, I'm going. You're really gonna let me go? I guess so, yeah.
I don't even care anymore. You're all gonna get your punishment later anyway. I need to start getting it ready. A super duper extra special punishment, overflowing with despair.
hey,
Come on, Makoto. Let's go.
Okay. Oh boy. Monokuma's unstable laughter seemed to cling to us as we walked away. And just like that, we were out of the gym. Whew. I could hardly believe it, but somehow I ended up not getting executed. I still had my life, and we still had a chance. Overall, things turned out way better than expected. Once again, I was in Kyoko's debt. When aren't we? Kyoko, thank you. Everything I have right now is because of you.
however,
Don't thank me just yet. The real battle is still ahead of us.
Yeah, true.
But still, I'm glad it worked out. I wasn't sure if the enemy would accept my proposal.
Yeah, I mean, he really didn't have to. But honestly, why would the Mastermind agree to that? I mean, they don't stand to gain anything from a final showdown, do they?
so,
They had no choice but to accept.
Huh?
because,
It's all because of that one moment that the Mastermind let their guard down. Like I said.
So, when was it that the Mastermind let their guard down?
so,
I wasn't there to hear it myself. But do you remember what the Mastermind said? They said they had hijacked the airwaves to broadcast our school life to the outside world. Right?
Yeah, they definitely said that.
listen,
What did you think when you heard that? Pretty hard to believe, right?
Well, I mean, the idea of actually taking over the airwaves seems so unbelievable.
indeed.
You don't exactly read about something like that happening very often, so it's hard to imagine.
It is possible, but yeah.
In other words, that kind of thing is extremely difficult to pull off.
However,
And yet somehow, the mastermind was able to do it.
in other words,
But think of it another way. There must have been some reason they had to do something that difficult.
A reason?
so
They had to show the world something, no matter the cost.
Us killing each other. They wanted to show the world?
it would seem
The mastermind has been very adamant about not killing us directly, but forcing us to kill each other. And all their rules and regulations were designed to encourage that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So if those stupid regulations didn't exist, nobody would have killed anybody.
in other words,
So the mastermind's ultimate goal was to make us kill each other, and show that off to the world.
But why? Yeah, and how did they lower their guard when doing this?
correct.
To prove a point, most likely.
Prove a point?
Hey,
The outside world has a name for the students of Hope's Peak, right? A certain concept.
You're talking about hope, right?
that's right.
And for those of us who represent hope to kill each other and sink into despair, the mastermind wants the world to see that, to try and prove that despair is better than hope.
That's pretty flaccid reasoning, but yeah, I mean, if they're the ultimate despair, then I guess so.
That's their goal, is the ultimate despair.
What? They want to prove that despair is better than hope? But that's ridiculous.
It's true.
You're right, it is ridiculous, completely irrational. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who call themselves the ultimate despair would devise. That group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair.
But is that really their only reason for making the rest of us suffer?
Makoto,
You know how angry it must make you. And yet, that same motivation is what led to the mastermind revealing their weakness.
What?
in other words,
Because their goal is to broadcast this killing game to the world. The mastermind has to be more particular than is reasonable about their regulations. If the mastermind simply ignored their rules, this wouldn't have been a game, but a one-sided slaughter.
at the very least,
True.
At least, that's how those who are watching this would have seen it.
And that's why the mastermind couldn't kill any of us themselves?
indeed,
That is precisely the reason. No matter how much they hate what I'm doing, I haven't violated a single one of their regulations.
I mean, you're right.
Junko broke the rules, so she was punished. But in my case, they couldn't lay a finger on me.
God, that was a long time ago now.
So instead, they tried to use the class trial, following all their proper rules, to get me killed. They began a trial that didn't have a right answer, and made me out to be the killer.
But even that didn't work.
it's true.
Yes, thanks to you. And due to that failure, the mastermind took yet another risk. They attempted to kill you. Kill you instead, who also was not the killer.
And when that fact was exposed on live TV to the entire world, the mastermind had to accept your suggestion?
Indeed,
To prove to the world that despair is better than hope, they have to defeat us in perfect form.
in other words,
It would only do the mastermind harm to have it shown that they violated their own regulations.
But all that was a hunch, right? And you were still able to get the mastermind to accept your challenge.
however,
Well, it's only thanks to you that we got that chance. Because you believed in me, another path opened up.
Still, I can't believe how much of the mastermind's thoughts and plans you were able to figure out. I didn't have the slightest clue.
wrong.
In the end, though, I couldn't prove any of it. It was just my reasoning. Essentially, I was making a bet.
Alright, Celeste. Oh.
But it looks like I got it right. This time, at least. I won the bet.
She let out a quick sigh. And I took it as a small sign of relief.
To be honest, I haven't been that nervous in a long time.
Oh, were you nervous for me? For Makoto? Ah! I totally couldn't tell you were nervous at all. You seemed totally confident from the moment we decided to go talk to him.
Well, presenting a strong demeanour is a fundamental part of negotiation and persuasion, wouldn't you say? Plus, if we showed any uneasiness, That would have just made... Plus, if I'd showed any uneasiness, that would have just made you more uneasy.
Yeah, you're probably right. How pathetic. Dude, your life was on the line. It's okay to be a little nervous.
However,
Anyway, can't relax just yet. All we've done is earn another chance to fight. We have to win this time,
correct.
or everything we've gone through will have been for nothing.
You're right. If we can't defeat the mastermind, it'll cost us our lives. There's no option except to win.
Hey,
But before we begin the final battle, we have to tell the others what's going on.
True, but now we know who our real enemy is. All we have to do now is work together with everyone to destroy the mastermind.
Work together with everyone.
however,
Is that really possible?
Huh?
anyway,
Anyway, right now we have to go find the others.
He's talking about her thought that one of us could be the mastermind, isn't she? I mean, what I've said, I think, sort of proves otherwise. But, I mean, as long as it's a possibility.
They're probably in the dorms somewhere. Shall we go?
We shall go in the next one. So I'm sorry not much happened. I did end up talking a lot of the time, but... yeah. I guess sorry. But hey! We've been set up for our final hurrah, I suppose. And I'm not too sure about how it's all going to end up, you know? Like, I'm not sure what mysteries of the school we're going to have to suss out. Or, like, to what extent we're going to have to suss them out. But, I'll see you guys in the next one, where we will get down to business with that. Figure out who the mastermind is, figure out the mysteries of this school, and we'll all make it out of here alive. I think all 6 of us are going to make it out of here alive. I hope. Anyway, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.